Welcome back. You're watching the Jacksonville History Show. Now we turn to the Fire Museum, sometimes known as the Catherine Street Fire Station, and our guests are Sparky Williams and Wayne Doolittle. Welcome both of you to the Jacksonville History Show.
Thank you, Harry.
Wayne, your role is chairman, president of the board that kind of supervises the operation over
Yes,
there.
sir.
And Sparky, you're there day to day. If someone comes over and brings a tour to see the Fire Museum, you'll be there to tell them what it's all about.
I'm there, yes.
Well, Wayne, let's talk a little bit about the history of this unique Fire Museum.
Well, Harry, it goes back, this particular station is Catherine Street Fire Station number 3. And station number 3 many years ago started out in 1876 with like 20 black volunteers. This station later on was burned in the Great Fire of May 3rd, 1901, the city of Jacksonville that burned down. And that station was rebuilt 8 months later on Catherine Street. It's considered 12 Catherine Street.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it sat for many years until recently it was moved to Kids Campus.
And I guess one of the first things you would rebuild if you had a city that burned down would be a fire station.
That's right. You need fire protection.
Makes good sense to me. And we assume by the fact that it was fire station number 3 that there were 2 other fire stations, maybe older, burned down. And
they were burned. They were burned also. You know, you had your main fire station, which was called Central Fire Station, and it was right downtown.
Well, let's take a look at some videotape, and we'll see what it looks like as people visit Kids Campus. They'll see the Catherine Street Fire Station, sometimes known as the Fire Museum, and it is a destination that a lot of people, here it is, just so people will know what it is when they see it down there at Kids Campus. Sparky, you get a lot of groups from schools and so forth to come down to the Fire Museum, don't you?
We get a lot, especially during the school thing. We had the field trips. We could have 100, 150 kids a day through. It's very educational for them.
And I guess forever, firefighting equipment, fire engines and so forth have been magnetic for kids. Kids just love to climb on fire engines and find out what they're all about. And old fire engines would be true of this also.
They love it, and then the hardest part is for us to tell them not to get on it, because if all of them got up there, we wouldn't have a museum after a while.
Well, they do get a chance to climb on some newer equipment at various fire stations, but this is older equipment and you have to take special care of it. In fact, a lot of work has been done in restoration of some of this equipment.
We've been restoring the horse-drawn steam engine for the past 10, 12 months now, and it's almost, I'd say, 95% complete. We're very proud of that piece of equipment, and just can't wait to get it finished so we can bring it up front and let everyone enjoy it as much as we do.
Sparky and Keith Woods took this project on, approximately how many months ago?
Last year ago, July.
A year ago, July, and they've done a tremendous job on this, and it's gratifying to see this old piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. This particular steam engine used to be at the zoo, Harry. It was in a garage there, and people would come to the zoo and they'd look in this glass garage and see this piece of apparatus, and now we've got it in the museum, and this is probably the first time that apparatus has been touched, and Keith Woods and Sparky have completely redone it.
Well, let's go back to the videotape, as they say, and we'll take a look inside the museum, and you tell us what we're looking at so that people can find out what they might see. There's Sparky working on some fire engine equipment there. Go ahead.
This is a fraternal order of firemen engine owned by the organization, which is we have a fireman on the job now. Chief Rum Alderman is the president of it, and Rum has kept this engine up along with what we've done at the museum, and they ask us to store it there at the museum so we can show the children a motorized piece of equipment. This is a 1926 American LaFrance.
And in the middle of the floor there is all kinds of showcases with various historic photos and so forth.
This is an entranceway to our museum is an old desk, pictures on the wall of the actual reprints of the pictures of the 1901 fire. We take our tour down this side of the building, explaining about how the building became to be there, how it was destroyed, how it was rebuilt, and most of the kids were fascinated by the fire pole.
That's a feature that you would not want to miss, of course.
Mm-hmm. This is the brass pole from the second floor to the first floor, and that's where the firemen slept upstairs in a bunk room, and when an alarm came in, they slid the pole. It's a quite quick way to get to the apparatus.
And tell us about this.
This is a very unique piece of equipment. This is a fire engine. Most people don't realize it is such. It's 197 years old, an 1806 model. It was drawn to the fire by the men, and it's a water wagon that the bucket brigade kept the drum full of water. 4 people on each side pumping the handles up and down created enough pressure that it could shoot a stream of water 200 feet away.
And how did it get to the fire?
The men pulled this one to the fire.
And later on they realized that would be a better job for horses.
Yes, they did improve to the horsepower. But this is a great piece of equipment, and we're very proud to have it in our museum.
Hmm. Well, let's talk a little about how the Catherine Street Fire Station evolved. It was on Catherine Street when it was rebuilt in 1902.
It was rebuilt 8 months after the fire. In 1902, they finished it. And at the time, there was a paid fire chief by the name of Chief Haney, which was brought in here from Atlanta, Georgia. He became the chief of the department. And after that, the museum, the black firemen that were paid at that time, at the end of that year, Chief Haney said that he wanted to disband that organization there at that station, and the rumors were that there was a lot of gambling and things going on, and they said that they wanted to disband it and shut the fire station down. So at a later date, the actual number 3 was moved to the central fire station, which was at Ocean and Adams Street, and the engine was ran out the side door, and that was considered engine 3, which was in Station 1. Then the shop took over the museum now. They ran the actual shop out of there, and now we have a fireman that's still on the job with 57 years, which is Chief Bowers. And Chief Bowers was a mechanic, and he worked out of that station.
57 years as a firefighter.
57 years, and I understand he's going to be leaving in January.
Wow. Well, interestingly, I guess the most interesting thing was it was moved. At a certain point, the Catherine Street Fire Station was kind of surrounded by a new police station built on 501 East Bay Street, and complicated any kind of further use, so along came the idea of moving it.
Well, in 1982, at that time, the museum was sitting idle, and they used it just as a storage. Sometimes they have an extra fire engine, they'd park it in and leave it. So I had gotten an idea. I had an aunt lived in Orlando, Florida, and she told me about this fire station being picked up and moved to a park. And they were going to make a museum out of it one day. So I approached some people about, why don't we move our fire station number 3, make a museum out of it, and talked about, maybe getting it out of that area because it was a cul-de-sac when they built the new jail. Mm-hmm. And we had trouble getting buses in there.
You could drive past it and not know it was there almost.
Right, because it was surrounded by the police station.
So it tied in perfectly with Kids Campus.
Right.
Because a lot of kids were going to be going to Kids Campus, and a lot of kids would like to see the old firefighting equipment.
Right. So at the time, Mayor was Ed Austin, and the word was that they were thinking about putting this Kids Campus theme park in. And I took it and went to the mayor and talked to him, and at that time Charles Clark was the chief, and Lex Hester played a role in this, and they decided, that this would be a nice thing to have on the outskirt of the actual park. And you would always have children there every day, so it would be a drawing card for the fire museum.
And Sparky, how many kids a year come through the Fire Museum?
Roughly here, I'd say we're in the busy period during the school months. We could have 100 to 150 children a day during that time. During what we call the slow period is the summer months, but we get a lot of individual people, families coming through. So many people call it, as I did when I started the Best Kept Secret in Jacksonville, but we've overcome that now, and we're getting the word out.
And it is definitely something that kids enjoy, and adults as well.
I think the adults enjoy it probably more than the children. The children want to get back to the park, and the adults want to stay in and look at the museum.
And there's an education mission here as well in terms of fire prevention, etc.
I don't let any group come into our building with their children and leave without giving them some safety tips along the way. And I've been known for now, as the end of the tour, I talk to the parents and give them the safety tips I think they should have.
And typically a tour would be set up through a school, I guess, or a teacher or something, but if someone wanted to contact you to find out more about it, is there a phone number they should call? Or?
If it's a small group, we're saying 5 to 10, so they could call and I would make the reservation with them. We're at 630-0618, 0618 at the museum. Large groups, we found we were having problems with kids campus booking, and we were booking and overlapping. So we're asking the larger groups to call kids campus and book, and then kids campus would register them into the museum.
And Wayne, I mentioned that you chair the group, that kind of an advisory group?
Yes, sir. We have a museum advisory board. There's 5 standing members, and that includes the fire chief, the president of Local 122, the Firemen's Union, and Historical Society, the president or chairman of that organization, and the Landmark Commission. And then there's 7 members that are appointed by the mayor.
Well, we're out of time. Wayne Doolittle, Sparky Williams, thank you for being with us on the Jacksonville History Show. You'll find a lot of information on the Jacksonville Historical Society website, www.jackshistory.com. So long for now.